Technologic.
Marketing Tech Blog.
Because this is what people are like now. They got their phone and they're like, it won't. Give it a second. It's going to space. Can you give it a second to get back from space?
Technologic.
What's funny is I share that clip all the time. The entire clip is actually really good. It's Louis C.K. and he's talking about how everything is great right now, but everybody is just moaning and complaining. It's just I think it ends with you're when you're flying, you're in a chair in the sky, experiencing the miracle of flight, and all you come back is saying, I stood in line for 20 minutes waiting for
person in front of me leaned back.
It's fantastic. Like we literally have the knowledge of the world at our fingertips in our phones, and all
and you're waiting for it to load.
And we're just complaining. So I read a great article. Actually, it wasn't an article. It was a conversation online. And I wanted to bring it up here. Our good friend Mark Schaefer, who has been on the show before, great guy. I absolutely love that guy. He's just a positive spirit. And if you don't follow him, just look up Mark Schaefer and tack on like social media or something like that, or business Mark Schaefer, and you'll find him online. He has a podcast with Tom Webster, who's incredibly funny as well.
Smart guy.
Yeah, of Edison Research. But Mark was commenting that content is SEO. That content is SEO. And then someone threw in some quotes, like Guy Kawasaki basically said that SEO is BS, and stuff like that.
Now wait a minute. He was on our show too.
right. And so these guys were talking about it, and I threw out some examples because a lot of people chimed in and said yeah, and I said not
Hold
quite.
on.
You can have a beautifully designed poster in Times New Roman black and white with no pictures and no whatever. The message is still beautiful. The content is beautiful, but nobody's looking at it because it's not designed well, Right. And it's the same thing here, is that your site has to still be designed well and has to put out a welcome mat for Google, making it easier for Google to crawl your site, find what it needs, index it properly, everything else. Now, what I will say is and it's what we talk about on the show and what we've been talking about for over a year now, is that the SEO industry has significantly changed, and that's that. The old SEO industry of, we're not going to pay attention to your clients, we're not going to pay attention to your content, we're not going to pay attention to anything. We're just going to look at keywords and see about how we can get you ranked.
Right.
And we don't care about conversions. We don't care about what gets shared, what doesn't get shared. That's all behind us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so largely, I've said it before, SEO, when I say SEO is dead, I'm talking about the industry. The pure SEO consultant.
Right.
I would not ever hire a pure SEO consultant. I would hire a marketing consultant.
Right.
I would hire someone like you guys, because
that have very, very strong skill sets in those spaces.
Exactly.
It's the other way around.
Exactly. I feel strongly that I think we can brag, right? I mean, between our firms, we have taken care of the top companies in the United States from a publishing standpoint, all the way down to the local, guy to get them rankings. And
we've taken care of hospital networks.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the reason why we've succeeded hasn't been because of our SEO prowess. It's been because of our marketing prowess. And that means right now, this ecosystem of search engine optimization, if you will, is largely dependent on the authority that you're building socially, the authority that you're building with your targeting and your content relevance, your frequency, your maintenance of that content, and then of course the baseline infrastructure of where that content is housed. And so, there's things I'd say, when we're getting started with a client in SEO, the first month we're working on the infrastructure. And then the rest of the time we're working on optimizing content, making sure that we have pages, making sure that we're answering the questions that people are looking for, making sure that it's popular and that it's promoted and that it's shared and all of those other things. The first month is when we say, hey, do they have robot files? Do they have site maps?
All the mechanics.
Are the page structures proper? Is the page fast? Do you have a content delivery network? Is it now, mobile, which we've been talking about for well over a year. And so I all I want to say is that it's not worth going through all of this effort and designing all of this content and writing all of these posts and on a framework that's broken. And that's the problem is we have one client, and we've talked about them before, but when we started, there were 1.6 million unique organic visitors a month. When we finished, they were 12 million. Same content, same writers, same frequency, same everything. The difference was how we presented their infrastructure to both the audience from a speed standpoint and everything else, and to the search engines.
That's right.
And so I just want to get that out there that yes, you need an SEO consultant, but no, you want to go after an SEO, a firm that is focused on the big picture of everything.
And I hate to say holistic, but it really is.
It is.
If you have somebody just paying attention to rankings, and they're not paying attention to the experience that the users are having, you have to have somebody that's looking after the entire piece, right? Because it all works in a recipe of sorts.
It really does, and now more than ever, it is holistic. It is how all of it's working together. What is your PR department doing? What is your promotions department doing? What kind of social media ad buys are you doing? How are you growing your email list? Because if someone comes to your site from SEO, get them to sign up for an email so that you can keep pinging them and they convert eventually.
But here's something very, very important is the concept of holistic, right? Usually it was accompanied with lack of accountability. Okay.
Yes. Or a lack of focus.
Exactly.
Oh, you're not an expert in one thing, Come on.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much accountability, so many measurements that we can have now in these spaces that accountability is absolutely a seat that the companies must have. Whoever you're interacting with has to have that in front of them.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to write a post about it, but I just wanted to get that out there to people that to understand when we're talking about SEO, we're talking about the framework baseline and then that building of authority and conversions and getting you business. That's what you want. So that's it.
So it's just not about mobile rankings, guys. It's about the mobile experience.
Yes, exactly.